Welcome back. It's still Sunday afternoon. It's about 3:45 p.m. And again, we like to share our disclaimer. And I wanted to mention to you, you know, if anybody can learn how to play blackjack, they can learn how to trade options. So we have a little disclaimer here. Everything that we're talking about today is for educational purposes only, and you can lose all your money. Trading involves risk. You can lose more than all of your money if you're trading with the margin account. So I always like to state that. But here's a little example that I wanted to share with you. All right. Suppose that we opened up a brand new account with, let's just say, $2,000 in it. Fine. You'd like to buy 100 shares of company XYZ, some fictitious company, for 12 bucks, but yet it's trading at $14. If it's trading at $14 and you want to buy it right now, right this instant, if the markets were open, you would spend $1,400 to buy 100 shares at $14 a piece. Yeah, maybe there's some commissions as well, but let's just say that there are no commissions right now or no other fees, additional fees. But if you're like me, every time you buy something, oh boy, it's going to go down. So rather than do that, the way I like to enter a position and actually buy shares of a company, I like to sell puts. All right, that sounds a little too Wall Streety, right? Okay, let's change it a little bit. Instead of using a limit order, we're pretty familiar with what a limit order is. A market order is if it's trading at $14, I'm buying it at $14. Okay. A limit order would state, okay, if I want to buy it at $12, I'm going to put a limit order out there. And if the price ever goes to $12, then I'd like to get executed. I'd like to buy 100 shares. Well, I could put that order out there. Well, what if the price never goes down to $12? Have I made any money? No, I don't make any money. All right. And take a look. If we're currently at $14 in this hypothetical example, and I want to get down to 12, well, assume that this is a normal distribution. This is crudely drawn, right? I can't really draw very well with the mouse, but everything that is highlighted in yellow has a 50% chance of happening, just in any kind of bell curve. Excuse me. And if I look at the distance between 14 and 12, let's say the probability of it going down to 12 is from 14 down to 12 is only 35%, right? Well, what if it goes beyond 14? What if it goes to 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, wherever? You've made no money because you just had a limit order there. However, what if I told you, why don't you sell an insurance policy to someone who believes there's going to be a fire at this particular company and the value of the company will come down? It'll come down from 14, maybe down to 10. I don't know. But let's say it's going to go down. Well, instead, you can sell someone that fire insurance, if you will, by telling them, hey, some random person out in the market space that I will take your shares at $12 a piece if the price goes down to there. In return, you're going to pay me for the right to give me those shares at $12. All right. So if the price goes down to, let's say, $11.50, I'll take the shares. But just like any insurance policy, it has an expiration date. So what we're saying is we just stated that in this hypothetical example, there is an 85% chance of the price staying above $12, meaning there's a 15% chance that I might actually own these shares. So I am happy selling someone this insurance policy stating I'm going to I will commit to buying your shares at $12 if the price goes under $12. In return, you're going to pay me a little pittance. You'll pay me, I don't know, 15 cents, 20 cents a share, 50 cents a share, whatever it is in the market. Okay. So for example, I'd like to make 12 cents a share. Okay? So I'm saying to myself, you know what? There's an 85% chance that this might not happen. Great. There's a 15% chance that it could happen. That means if I'm the insurance agent, I will actually have to go out and pay to buy these shares. And for me, instead of putting out $1,400 and buying it right now at $14 a share, I have to make sure that I allocate $1,200. Okay. So if the price really comes down to 12, okay, I'm not going to cry as much. So when I used to buy shares at $14 a share, in this example, and it would drop to $12, I'd get so frustrated, right? But in this case, what am I saying? I'm saying to myself, okay, you know what? Yes, check this out. You've got an 85% chance of winning here. Are you going to make a lot? No, I'm not going to make a lot, but I'm happy making, let's say, 12 cents for every share that I could potentially buy. That's 1%, right? So in the end, I'm going to make 1% of $1,200 is $12. It doesn't sound like a lot. You're right. But if I have an 85% chance of making 1% for, let's say, a month, that's not too bad. I mean, I might take it. So right now, if it doesn't go there by the end of the expiration time period, be it a week, be it a month, be it 3 months, whatever we look for, we can always sell insurance based on how many days we are looking till it expires. That's what an insurance salesperson does. When they sell you auto insurance, when they sell you homeowners insurance, if there is no accident, if there is no fire, if there's no kind of property damage, well, the insurance salesperson, by the end of that term, or by the end of that year, or by the end of that month, by the end of that contract, they walk away with whatever you've paid in premium. I'm asking you to become the insurance salesperson in this case, right? I want you to go in and say, I want to be the house. I don't want to be. So in the last video, we talked about the casino. The house always wins. I want you to start thinking about, how do I become the house? So in this case, what if I told you could sell someone the right to buy their shares at 12, and by the end of the week, month, quarter, whatever it is, they'll pay you for that opportunity. You got to ask yourself, would you do that? Would you take an 85% chance of getting paid something? Now, for me, I'm looking at it as I was anchored in, I'm using a limit order. If I use this limit order and the price never goes down to 12, I didn't make any money. All right. And if I used a market order and tried to buy the shares at 14 and then it would go down, oh, that would be so frustrating. But that's how I used to be. Now I'm saying to myself, you know what? It's okay. Don't worry about making a lot or missing the boat or anything like that. You just want a nice, quick little win, and you want to sleep peacefully at night. For me, an 85% chance of winning. This is 50% here. This is 35% here as a hypothetical. For me, I'm happy with an 85% chance of winning. All right. So hopefully you got that. But I wanted to leave you with something a little fancy. So, what if you're worried about the share price going below $12 and it's going to continue to drop? What can you do? You can always buy that insurance policy back. You'll probably lose money. For me, I will just take the shares. I'm like, okay, there was a fire sale. Give me those shares at $12. It's not the end of the world. I'll figure out what I can do with them the following week, month, quarter, year, whatever it is. It's fine. So here, in this case, you can also do something that is known as a credit spread. So here, if I buy an insurance policy, but for $10, remember, we originally sold an insurance policy to someone else, someone completely random, someone we'll probably never ever meet, and we told them we will take their shares off their hands for $12 each, right? That's what we wanted to say originally. Now we're also buying an insurance policy saying, you know what? We're really worried. What if the share price goes all the way down to zero? I don't want to sell them at zero. But maybe what I can do is I can buy an insurance policy at hypothetically $10 each. So in this case, if the company goes bankrupt, I will own the shares at $12. I'm not happy about it, but I committed to that decision. And then what I can do also by buying this insurance policy, I can also hand them over at $10. Is this a loss? Yes. Yes, it is a loss, but it is a limited loss. So in this case, if the price goes all the way down to $0, I got the shares at 12, I will hand them over at 10. The company's gone bankrupt. I've lost $2 a share. So instead of losing $12 a share, I've only lost 2. So the mechanics of this trade involving, they state here, involve telling yourself that I'm going to take a chance on something not happening. All right, let's take a look. The probability of the price originally was at $14. The probability of it going down to $12 was 15% in this particular example. So I'm going to take a chance on something not happening. So the probability of it not happening is 85%. I'm happy with that. Now, if I take a look and I want to go a little bit extra, and what I'm saying is then I can also look at something different. I could say, well, what about the $10 point? All right, now let's change this up a little bit. Let's say this is $10. Okay, so the probability of it being less than 12, we said is 15%. However, what we can also state is, I'm going to just erase this for a moment. We can get rid of that. There we go. Yeah, let's just get rid of that. And let's say, okay, in this case, we can state that the probability here of between 10 and 12 would be, let's say here, let's say this probability is only 5%. All right. Oh, I can't really draw with the mouse too well. All righty. So now let's do some math. If the probability of it falling of the price at expiration is going to be between 10 and $12 is going to be 5%, then everything else below is going to be 10%. Now, why is this 10%? Because everything underneath the bell curve all these probabilities have to add up to 100%. So let's take a look. 10 plus 5 is 15. 15 plus 35 is 50. 50 plus 50 is 100%. So I'm going to state that, all right, well, if the price goes down to 0, the probability of it getting less than $10 hypothetically is 10%. The probability of it even touching $12 is only 15%. The probability of it going between $10 and $12, meaning I actually own the shares at $12 and I'm not going to sell them at 10. Suppose the price at the end of expiration closes at, I don't care, let's say $11.25. All right, I'm not going to sell them at 10 bucks. All righty. I'll get them at 12, but they're worth $11.25 by the time I get them. That's only a 75-cent loss. But what happens is I'm going to sell this for, let's say, 12 cents, we stated, and I'm going to buy this for, let's say, I don't care, let's say 5 cents. Right? So 12 cents minus 5 cents would give me 7 cents a share worth of profit. If I do that on 100 shares, that would be $7 worth of profit. But again, the most I'm going to lose is going to be $200 at this point. Okay. Now, of course, you have to be very careful. You could lose even more than $200 if what? You get the shares at $12, and then the following week, let's say the price then goes down to $10. You got to make sure that you also, once your option expires, so does this option expire. All right. You got to make sure that you will always constantly buy this insurance policy, but you got to be careful. If you believe it's going to go down even further, you're going to keep buying insurance policies. The problem with buying these insurance policies is, again, what is the likelihood of you winning? It's going to be less than 50%. We don't want that. We want to make sure that whenever you buy an insurance policy, You're just buying it for a little bit of protection, for a little bit of peace of mind. That's fine. But in general, we want to be, again, we want to be the casino house. We want to be the insurance salesperson. We want to consistently sell someone the right to give us their shares at a much lower price than where that share price is currently at. So that's the one thing that I like to do. The gains are kind of small, but they do add up over time. If you do this over and over and over again, you'll find yourself with a nice little, nest egg, and that's fine, and you can deploy more. So once I do this a few times, let's say eventually I double my money after a year or so. Well, now I don't have to do this on 100 shares. I can do this on 200 shares. And I could sell more instead of selling one insurance policy, because each insurance policy in this particular example is is good for 100 shares. So if I now have 200 shares, I can sell two insurance policies on this. All right. So if you have questions, I'm sure you have some questions. You can drop them in the comments below, or you can always reach out to us at TheFlowPartners.com. You can, if you like this video, just hit the like button and hit subscribe. And as always, please be careful when you are trading and ask questions. Hopefully, we can help you out. If you don't want to ask us, you can always go to advisorinfo.sec.gov, and you can always look for a fiduciary in your area. All right, on that note, I hope you enjoyed this video and happy trading.